Hi, welcome to Chad's Silversmithing. Today it's time for a quick tip, and I had a viewer ask me for a particular thing. He wanted me to show a process for creating a seat for a faceted stone in a setting, and so I thought I would do that as a quick tip today. So thank you, Terry, for suggesting that. I really appreciate that. All right, well, let's get started. So this is one of my design idea sketchbooks you get at my merch store. This one has flow temperatures of various types of solder. I just added a new one that has the Mohs hardness scale on it with some different minerals that are used as index minerals for that, as well as some household items you can use to do field tests on minerals and stuff. The real feature of these, for me anyway, is the dot matrix in the background. It allows me to draw better pictures of my projects, and I really enjoy, since I started doing this about 4.5 years ago, having a record of all the stuff that I've made. That way I can go back and recreate things or similar things without having to reinvent the wheel each time. So, alright, so there's not much of a drawing today other than I drew kind of a little base for the stone that I picked out. This is just a faceted blue topaz. It's probably about 8 by 10 or maybe 9 by 11. It's a pretty good sized one. So I made this so it's just a little bit bigger than that. That gives me a little room to share. This is 18 gauge sheet that I used for, actually used for the base of this one a couple of days ago. And I had a little bit left over, so since I had a request to show how I did the cutting of the bearing, I'm going to just create a little bit of a diagonal cut using a ball burr down into here so that the part of the stone that's going to be down there will fit in there nicely. If you're new to this, here's some terminology about faceted stones. The top facet is called the table facet. Not all of them have that. Some of them have a checkerboard cut on top. The overall part above the widest part, which is called the girdle, is called the crown, and the bottom part's called the pavilion. And so generally we want to create a slope that matches the angle of the pavilion pretty closely so that the girdle sits right on top of that thing. And to do that, I'm going to use a kind of a medium-sized ball burr in my rotary tool. And sometimes when I have something small like this, if it'll fit in my miter vise jig, it gives me a little bit more to hold on to, and it's easier to shape it and everything. So let's put it in there. Kind of tighten it up so it's less likely to move, and then we can just use the ball burr to kind of create that little angle. So let me grab my rotary tool. Kind of set it up over here. I haven't tried it at this angle yet, so I'm going to try and do this so that you can see what I'm doing in my normal workspace that I don't usually have this. But so you can see I have just a little bit of a, not a huge ball burr, small enough to where it's just about the same size as the top edge of this. And what I'm going to do is I'm just going to work my way around this, kind of slowly cutting an angle into it. Okay, I'm going to stop and kind of evaluate how this sits in there. I'm not sure if you can see now, but I'll pull it out of here. Pull it up a little bit closer so hopefully you can see that. That girdle kind of rests right on there now, flush with the top. So the only other thing I might do is fine tune a little bit. If there's any spots where it seems like it's not sitting flat. I used to use a diamond burr to do this, but I found that especially now that I have a foot pedal controlled rotary tool, I get a better result with a ball burr. And then I'll probably use maybe one of those bristle discs to really kind of clean it up inside of there. But that's kind of how I do it. You can do this before or after you add prongs. On this kind of a setting, a lot of times I'll put prongs on the outside edge here, like 4 or 6 prongs. And if you do that first, you just got to kind of work around the prongs when you're doing this stage. So yeah, that's how I do it. I'd love to hear how you do it if you are someone who makes this kind of a thing. You know, I'm kind of self-taught, so if I'm doing something in a way that's not logical, tell me. I always love to hear better ways of doing things. So, all right, let me know what you think. All right, well, that's how I add a seat for a stone in a setting. I hope you enjoyed that and found that useful. If you did enjoy it, I'd appreciate it if you hit the like button before you go. I'd also love it if you'd leave a comment. I learned so much from a lot of you, and I appreciate your input, so do that if you would. I'd also like it if you go and visit my main channel page. I have 660 plus videos now. I put out 3 per week, one on Tuesday, one on Thursday, and one on Saturday. There's a great deal of information and tutorials over there, so check a few of them out. Subscribe to my channel. It doesn't cost anything. It makes it easier to find my content, and it helps me out, so I appreciate it if you do that too. I wanted to thank some groups of people. My patrons over on Patreon are my core group of supporters. Not only do they help me financially, they've created this really lovely environment over there with a lot of cool people who know a lot of stuff. And we get to share ideas and information, and it's really a nice community, so thanks for making it that way. I also wanted to thank my YouTube subscribers. We just passed 29,300, which is awesome. Thank you for that. I look forward to hitting 30,000, which is not too far off in the future, hopefully. Thank you for the lovely comments. I learned so much from you all, and I appreciate you sharing your stories and how you got into things and how you do things. That's really not only interesting but useful for me as well, so thanks for that. And I do appreciate the financial support as well. The Buy Me a Coffees, the super thanks, buying my shop items, or buying my ebooks. That stuff all makes my channel sustainable, and I couldn't do it without your help, so thanks. The video description down below has some important links. There's a link to my Patreon if you want to find out more about that community. There's a link to my merch store should you want to get yourself one of those nice design idea sketchbooks, like the new one that has the Mohs hardness scale on it, or some other merch. There's lots of stuff over there, so check it out. And finally, there's a link to my newest ebook, which is the Guide to 2025's tutorials. I did over 170 last year, so there's a page for each of those in the ebook with a link to the video as well as additional information like a list of materials and notes I took about it, pictures of it, pictures of the sketch, difficulty rating, stone information, all of that stuff. So that's a valuable resource, provides lots of tutorials and lots of projects. And it's a really nice way to support my channel, so get yourself one of those. You can even get a package deal for all 3 that I've done, 2023, 2024, and 2025. So that would provide you with projects for a really long time, and you save $15 if you buy the 3 of them together. There's a link on the merch store, so check it out. All right, well, thanks for watching today. Take care. Happy silversmithing.